Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Accurate number 9900930 extruded aluminum interlocking outswing door saddle. I don't know particularly why they list this as outswing, except that the position relative of the door to where the unit would reside over towards the back end, meaning that you could certainly very elegantly have the door reside right over this space and swing out should the needs of the framing or the frame, the jamb and the sill require it. But this would also work for an in-swing as well. Really, I think without any trouble. However, I would certainly argue that it would be permissible for this to be an in-swing as well. You've got a nice slope on the front of the threshold. Depending on where you position the hook strip underneath the door, your door can literally reside right over this space. You could also shift it out and then use an L-shaped hook, which we'll go over about in a moment. You would certainly, in my opinion, want to add a drip cap to the bottom of the door as well to help kick the rainwater off of this plateau and then down the face of the slope. So in-swing or outswing, I don't personally see a problem with that. Yeah, that's exactly what the manufacturer's page says. Outswing doors, or for use with in-swing doors, were protected. So it's really relative position of where the door is going to be in relationship and how it works best with your application, and then thinking to yourself, what am I going to do to mitigate the problem of moisture getting here if it's an in-swing? If it's an outswing, you're certainly going to want to add a drip cap, a door sweep, or at least a drip cap would be really great. You've got that tremendous positive seal that we're going to go over in a moment, but again, a drip cap is going to be really helpful. I like this item from Accurate because it is a couple of features about it. It feels heavier, first and foremost. It literally feels heavier, which tells me the extrusion is thicker. And underneath, it's got these ridges right here, here and here. And what that's going to do is give you the ability of, once you attach the threshold, for it to resist lateral movement, because an interlock has substantial lateral potential, because you've got a hook strip involved. Now, what is it? It's this. You can see why we call it a hook strip. If you use your imagination, you can see why we call it a J-strip, a J-hook. When you nail this to the bottom of the door, and that's what you do, it's going to make contact with the threshold just like this. So when you open the door, you close the door. You won't beat that sort of connection for a positive seal at the bottom. Sure, it's probably not really high in the R value scale. Sure going to stop rain and wind from coming through if you're in Chicago. One thing that, interestingly enough, I'm here in southern Florida, and I don't deal with it at all, or at least haven't historically. But people in the Southwest, they need to keep not as much rain out usually, but they need to keep scorpions out. So they like these interlocks because it'll sure keep critters out. That's the bottom line. Now, this is indeed an interlocking threshold, and they're incredibly elegant because of that ability for it to so positively seal the bottom of the door. Okay, there's no argument about that whatsoever. I happen to like the Accurate model of automatic. Pardon me, I keep saying automatic. I happen to like the Accurate version of these interlocking thresholds because of specifically the hook strip. It has a little giddy up in it, a little giddy up right here. That allows you, when you nail it to the bottom of the door, nails and screws are included, that you're going to have a little space for the head of the nail. Other manufacturers compensate for that by giving you a much larger hook strip, where there's a larger mouth. When you put that sort of feature to the roll forming process, I'm assuming these are roll formed, you're able to close that gap down and give you a much tighter margin. Okay, so I personally think that's a great idea. Now I'm going to illustrate for you what this is going to look like at the bottom of the door very quickly in a typical installation. And Accurate is a manufacturer of weather stripping and has been for decades, to be sure. And they're one of only 2 companies that I'm aware of that offer weather stripping for double hung wood windows, zinc and bronze weather stripping, rib strips, meeting style strips, sill, header seals. So this is what it's going to look like, generally. Something like that. Okay? And I've exaggerated it just to give you the concept. But you could also do, and Accurate can supply this as well. My second drawings are never as good as the first. An L angle strip so that it'll look like this. Okay? Obviously that's going to be mounted on the face of the door and you're going to see it. That scenario you're not going to see at all. Okay, that hook strip. And interlocking weather stripping, specifically thresholds, and of course it's available from Accurate for jambs and the perimeter of the door as well. The material is known to be incredibly long-lasting. Decades of usable service life out of this material. Really the only time that you'll have trouble is a client will call me up and say, I need a new threshold. Why? I don't know what happened. It just stopped working. I can't close my door. I said, all right, well, is there any obstruction? No. I says, look down below the door and tell me if there's a piece of metal nailed there. Turns out they're surprised to learn there's something nailed there. And what they did was they pulled the door off the hinges to move in a couch or paint or whatever, put the door down and crushed the drip cap, the hook strip. So we're able to sell the guy, the lady, whomever, just an inexpensive hook strip. There you go, another 5 decades worth of usable service out of it. So that is a very common scenario. So be mindful when you install this that you not crimp it at all. There is a third scenario I'd like to show you as well on this hook strip, something that I'm a fan of personally, which would look something like, the third drawings are even worse. Something like this, where you rabbet the bottom of the door so that you can run the door long down, even helping prevent the seal even further. Okay, that right there is the hook strip nailed, of course, up into the door. So you could certainly do that. That'd be great for an in-swing. That'd be really great for an outswing as well. If this was an outswing, and then you add that drip cap on the outside, like that, you're going to do a great job at help keeping that water out where it belongs. And the reason that all that's really important is because this is such a short threshold. It's 5/8, and we'll go over the dimensional properties now. That you don't have a weep hole principle, where if it was taller, you'd literally have holes drilled in here and then notches filed in the front so that any weeping of the water in the threshold could fall down through the weep holes, through the trough, and then out the front, or the opposite side. So this is 3.5 inch, as you can see. It's 5/8 tall. So it's a short one. Not uncommon, a little less common. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with it's probably more common than I'm giving it credit for. This hook strip, and you can buy these only with the nails, certainly. About an inch and, well, pardon me, about 7/8. And then about maybe 3/16. So the question's really going to be is, what is my undercut going to be for the door? Well, you're going to want to measure all of this. and determine that half of that distance is probably every bit of 3/32 of an inch. Your door plus that 3/32 of an inch or thereabouts to get you from here down to the center line. So what we're really asking ourselves is, and some people will wait till they have the threshold to install it, is where am I going to place the door knowing that I got to have the door come right down to here? So you don't have a lot of room right there. Meaning there's not a lot of space that's going to be required. So you're going to be from the door, from the bottom of the threshold to the 5/8 to the top, plus a very small margin just for this. Could be about 3/32 of an inch, something tiny. Making a real tight seal is the bottom line. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure that will allow you to review a variety of interlock thresholds from Accurate as it pertains to outswing, but specifically those sizes that are very similar to this. So that would be very helpful for you to review as well. Now, this Accurate item is listed in the website in lots of different lengths, everything from 2 foot to 8 foot, and you can have longer. We just don't list them because the cost to ship is usually prohibitive when it comes to long lengths. If you needed one piece at 10 foot, freight's going to make the cost of this look insignificant. You needed 40 pieces at 14 foot, the freight's not going to be a big deal. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces and simply indicate in the comment field the length that you would like for us to ship the material out at. And the reasoning is it'll save you the trouble of having to cut all of it. This is aluminum, so you can cut it, but you may not get the same factory edge as the manufacturer does. Plus, if you had to take this 3 foot piece and cut it down to, say, 34 inch, you're likely going to be real close to eliminating that countersink. The next one's all the way over here. So then you'll have to re-drill a hole, you'll have to countersink a hole, and some people realize, oh gosh, I don't have a countersink. So you might save yourself the trouble and order the next longest piece. You'll get the threshold cut at the right length, the countersink at the proper distance from the edge, the proper centers as well. You'll get the hook strip cut at the right length, and that's made of steel with a zinc coating on it. So you're probably not going to want to cut that unless you have to. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all of the Accurate products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have more than an occasional need for weather stripping, I urge you to review their catalog because no one has more unique solutions when it comes to variety of sizes than Accurate. They employ a modular type system that you, in the beginning portion of the catalog, will see, and I use them when no one has a extruded solution dimensionally for what has to occur, with great success, in fact. They're a specialty manufacturer of weather stripping. They are not your everyday stuff that you're going to find at the home center. But when it comes to high quality, sold by a company who knows nothing, these people have forgotten more about weather stripping than other companies have ever learned. I'm sure of it. If you have any questions on the Accurate, this is their part number 9900930 interlocking threshold, or any other Accurate product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.